To everybody that's listening. If you didn't catch it, I'm, interviewing the beautiful Yolan, and she is gonna be my guest today. So if you have any questions, it's my first time going live on Facebook because the Instagram wasn't working as I expected it to. So hit me up on Facebook if you have any questions at all for me or for her. And this is for my radio show, the Ohenewaa Show. If you've not been tuning in this semester, this is the last day of my show. So I'm really excited to have somebody such as her, on the show, and just to kind of have fun with you guys. So stay tuned. But before I do anything, let me place this camera right where we can get a good frame of both of us. There we go. Look at me. Okay. So, if you missed it, Yolan over here went to Marquette University, which is the, college university I happen to go to. And in addition, she met her husband, who's Jamaican, and she gets the Jamaican influence from her husband that she married at Marquette University. Exactly. So see, she kills two birds with one stone. Okay, she got her degree and she got a man. Okay,
seriously, it is so real. When I came here, I was single.
Oh wow,
single and really lonely. So
oh my God. So hey, it happens, y'all. It happens. So anyway, moving on. So she's kind of told us a little bit about what you do as far as like your career and also with your restaurant. Now, just give me a little bit of background. What kind of like led you to start up this restaurant business? Because I'm sure you have a MBA in business. Yeah. So from somebody that's coming from a business background, what would you be doing the culinary side of things?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, that's a very, very good question. I think
Thank you.
A very, very deep question. When I came here, I had no intention, even no idea about opening a restaurant. I just noticed that there was a void in the area in terms of a point of view coming from a native African in terms of food. I mean, I spent a ton of time eating at a lot of ethnic restaurants, specifically Chinese or Indian restaurants, because I was yearning for that taste of like bold flavors and uniqueness that of the food that we ate. And as I organize a lot of culinary events around town, a lot of people just encouraged me to open a restaurant. I mean, it helped that I already had a background in business, so I like to think that I know what I'm doing.
Right. No,
but the training in terms of cooking comes from years of watching women in the village, in our family, in our community cooking. It's part of our DNA. I say loud and proud. African women cook. They know how to cook. They are born with it, and it's one of those skills and those talents that I say we groom in our kids, in our children early on. So learning to cook, I mean, it's just part. It was for me. It's just natural as breathing. So bringing that to people was way part of the business aspect of things.
And I see that you do an amazing job because I've personally visited her restaurant and I've been there a couple. You heard? I've been there a couple of times, and I'm not gonna lie. Her food is actually up to standard. When I first moved to Milwaukee, and again, just so you know, you're the only African restaurant that I've heard about. When I first moved to Milwaukee, I was kind of looking around for a little community where I can feel like I belong, because Marquette is pretty much predominantly white, and also living in Milwaukee with the way the city itself is so segregated, it was kind of hard to kind of maneuver my way around and figure out where things were. But thankfully I met this guy at work one time, and we just happened to talk about African food, and he was like, have you been to Arizulu? I was like, Irish Zulu. He was like, you like Jamaican food? I was like, yeah, that's not going to get me to go. Exactly. So he tells me it's a Jamaican food, place or whatever. So I really didn't look at it until like just a couple months ago, I was like, man, I really, really want some African food. Now, I was really going to drive to Chicago because that's where my folks are at. And usually I just drive to Chicago and get some African food.
I used to do that too.
Right, but I was like, okay, let me, check this place out. I Googled it, and I was like, they serve jollof rice. I gotta go. No, literally. And I went, and I had a good time. I'm not gonna lie. Her food is really up to standard. So if you're ever in Milwaukee or, the neighboring cities or whatnot and wondering a good place to go for some ethnic food, it's the place to go.
Oh, yeah.
No lie. All right. So, a question. So, we kind of talked about your restaurant, how you blah, blah, blah. So, just tell me just a little bit. What was your inspiration? I know you mentioned, it had to do with the African background and being kind of groomed to be a cook or whatnot at an early stage. But what really did it for you? Because most people, it's like the little things,
Yes.
So what was that little thing that made you want to open this restaurant?
You literally get me to talk. I think for me it was just looking around town and seeing how African food is, excuse me, bastardized.
Oh.
It's going to event and hearing things like jollof rice with cheese in it, and with everybody doing these recipes that you have no clue where it can even possibly remotely be close to anything that is jollof rice. And literally, there was one specific event, and I'm not gonna list the restaurant that did it. I went to a fundraiser downtown, and they were serving peanut butter chicken, the version of African peanut butter chicken with goat milk.
What?
And I felt so insulted, so infuriated, that I said, okay, something is just fundamentally wrong about not knowing. So either we have to, take back ownership of this food and define for people what it should be. We can sit back and complain, or we can do something about it. And I got the means. I'm a sociology major. I tell stories. I study African history. I happen to actually have studied in Cameroon, in Ghana, in Senegal, in Kenya, and in South Africa sociology, because I do have a degree before business, a doctorate in social sciences. So for me, as a sociologist and historian, it became a personal problem I had to solve. It's like, no, I cannot be in a community like this where what I studied, where my ancestor put together, is being mashed up.
Washed, yeah.
It can't be, and I'm sitting there silent. So the peanut soup with goat milk got me there. I mean,
that was it for her. She was like, I'm done.
It was, honestly, I got home and I was so mad. And I said to myself, but when you think about it, people would only put together what they know.
Right.
So it's based on what they know. And we have the responsibility, and in my case, after have studied it, I have the responsibility to educate, because that's what people in academia do. Right. And I felt like it was that degree that my dad always laughed at, like, what are you going to do with sociology major? Right. Finally, I could put it to use. See? And knowing that I studied business to have a job, I could put it all together with my love of food and create a concept that educate, hopefully fulfill a need, and make people understand where we come from, the people that we are, through our food. And for me, it's a matter of pride. It's very, very serious.
And I'm not really just backing up everything she's saying, but I've actually been to her restaurant, and I've seen the kind of education that goes on there. Like, most oftentimes, people that are not African happen to be at these restaurants, and I'm sure that they're not just there to make fun of, our culture. They're actually there to learn something. And that's something that I was really inspired by at your restaurant, just the fact that you've taken something that people would, mostly just commercialize on to, turn it to be, to also commercialize on it and also educate. So you're making a really, really, really great impact with the little things that you're doing. But for going on, so I know with cooking like African food and stuff, of course, ingredients are gonna be hard to come by. How do you come by?
You're a good interviewer.
Oh my God! Look, no, she's a great interviewee.
You are a very, very good interviewer. I'm very impressed with you.
Thank
because
you.
Those are things that matter. The questions that you're asking are really what matters. Because when you look at a restaurant, and I'm going to tell you why it matters. It matters because it actually reflects in the price and the value that the customer end up paying. Because a lot of people, when they go to African restaurants, specialty restaurants, they don't understand the supply chain to bring the plate to table. Ultimately, I mean, I understand everybody is concerned about cost, right? It's normal because we all have a budget. However, to bring certain type of food to the table, especially in the U.S., we're not in Europe where it's close, where it just comes in. We're in the United States of America. So the food, like my palm oil, come from Ghana. Oh, wow. The gari, there's a type of gari that I can only do that has to come from Ghana because the best gari of a certain farm come from Ghana. Yeah. And
shout out to Ghana.
Yes, shout out to literally shout out to Ghana. And then I'm gonna get some of the yam coming from Nigeria, and all of those things cost money because of the travel and the supply chain. So ingredient is a challenge. I have to be honest with you because some days I'm not able to put out the best product that I want to have because we're not having the good ingredient because we all source from the same supplier in Chicago. And when you get there sometimes a shortage because you're coming from Milwaukee, the restaurant in the Chicago area. It's
a lot of African restaurants in
Chicago. Exactly.
But, that's a really good point you made. And also I've seen the way, and this is just a follow up. Your presentation of food. I'm all about presentation. I love to personally cook, and what I've seen you do with food is just so amazing. It blows my mind. Like one time I came in with my best friend and we had yams. This woman had the yams looking like fries. I mean, they're of course the same. Like they belong to the same family. Don't get me wrong, but the yams were so cut to perfection, and it was fried it was almost fried the perfect way. It melted in my mouth, and it was so crunchy at the same time, and it was beautiful in this bowl or whatever Tupperware you had. And I was just I've been to several African restaurants and I don't see this. Presentation is not very important to them, and that's something that's very important to you. Why is that?
I
guess I kind of sort of answer the question, but I want to kind of hear your own perspective.
It's a good question because I call it the new generation of Africans, the younger generation, the youth. The people that I'm trying to speak to now, they go beyond just eating food to get full, and they socialize now in restaurants. At the time of our parents, they didn't go to a restaurant oh my God, you go to a restaurant, it's like your wife don't cook.
Right.
But now we have a lot younger folks who are into, I say, popular culture, into more of a modern way of socializing. People go out more and they're into art, they're looking into beauty. So for me, the goal is to get people to look at African food in a different light. It's not just the quickly put together food that's slapped on the plate, and it doesn't matter if it look good or right or wrong, because we always know our food tastes good. But we have to realize that to get into the next generation of food and be able to compete with every other cuisine, it has to be as appealing as it tastes. We know our
She's
our
speaking
stuff
my mind
is together.
right now.
Our food, honestly, hands down, from a flavor standpoint, is the bomb.com. But then now, how we plate and how we serve and how we present, historically and culturally, we haven't done work to do that because for us it's good enough. But more and more, to be able to be at that same stage at every other cuisine, and to be able to ask our worth. To be able to ask our word, we need to refine, we need to polish, and we need to make the environment look good and smell good. It has to all come together.
Man, I swear she could be my mom, because this is literally when I cook, I'm all about the presentation. My friends, sometimes ask, why do you spend so much time cleaning the plate that the food goes on, cleaning the oil from the plate, doing all this extra stuff because you're what you put on the table, you know?
Exactly.
And I'm really glad that that's something that's very important to you because honestly, I wouldn't have come back or bring my friends back or even, decide to recommend other people to your restaurant if it wasn't up to standard. And that's just something huge for me, and it's really good that you're thinking in that direction because I feel like this is a good start, and hopefully other people will be exposed to this and kind of change some things around because that's a really good thing you got going on there.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So moving on, I know you mentioned a little bit of competition. So the next question talks a little bit about competition. Do you feel there's any competition here, or with the neighboring states or cities, and how do you deal with them?
I think there's always competition. When the food business is the one with a very low entry point, everybody thinks that they can cook.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Everybody gets in. There's a lot of diverse cuisine in the greater Milwaukee area. Restaurants open every day, quite frankly. Every day you hear there's a new concept. They close as well at that same pace. I think I totally believe there's a lot of competition, but I have a vision. I gotta tell you, my competition is myself.
That's true.
I put that in my head. I have a vision, and you can't replicate somebody's art.
Right.
You can't replicate somebody's soul. I am unique in my way. You're unique in your way, and this girl is very confident. I mean, that's the thing. If you're a real African girl, you're confident. You know your stuff. So I think there's competition out there, but for what I do, I try to hone my craft. I'm not just a cook that is cooking African food. I am a sociology major that studied African culture, that went to business school, and that happens also to be a very gifted cook. So bringing all of that together, I can create concept and keep reinventing myself every day. And that's what, just like in music, any artist, you have to be able to do that. Because if I was just cooking African food, trust me, we have 1,000 people cooking African food. Right. But the question is, who can be creative with that food and create a compelling concept that grabs somebody's attention? Not 1 month, not 2 months, not 1 year, not 2 years, 5 years and more, and keep innovating and doing it in a way that your food is personal. When you come to Irie Zulu, my restaurant, it's my personality. I'm not copying anybody else. Actually, that's me. It's literally the way we treat customers to the way we present our plate. It's as colorful as my personality. It's as boasting, as proud as I am. And it's as it talks to you because I like to talk to people. Right. It's loving because I love people. And that, you can't replicate somebody's personality. You can try. But you know what? You can't be the authentic.
That's true. That's true.
So, yes, I think there's competition. But, I always tell myself my biggest competition and my hurdle is myself.
That's true. That's a really smart answer. Thank you for that. Well, you've heard it all. We do have some follow-up questions, about 3 more questions, and then we wrap this up. But before that, we're going to take a quick break, quick music break, 30 seconds, just to kind of, have you guys relax a little bit, because I know it's a lot of talking, and I definitely don't want to bore you guys out. So just hang in there, vibe to this music, and you're going to catch me in about 30 to a minute. Stay tuned. Alrighty. That was awesome.
Good interviewer.
Thank you. I wanted to do like African music, but I have my phone. But yeah.
So do you record it?
No, I usually record it, but I don't have my flash drive, so I'm putting it on live Instagram, but it's gonna stay on my page.
Oh, it is. So
yeah, so I can share. Yeah, I'll share it with you. sorry. I haven't, like, talking to people is just something that I love to do. Interviewing just kind of like, because I'm doing this show, I added the interview segment to it. Usually with the shows, they just have DJs play music, talk a little bit.
What you're doing is perfect.
Thank you.
It's really good.
Thank you. I like to just talk to people, and because here by yourself for like an hour and 45 minutes is boring. But today is going to be a short show because once I'm done with you, that's all that I have. I have stuff to do, so I definitely, but yeah.
Your questions are very pointed.
Thank
So,
you.
Really, when I deal with like very, I would say very experienced. That's how I'm like, wow, you're asking actually the right questions.
Thank you. All right, we're about to get on in 5, 4, 3, 2. Alrighty. Uh-oh. No, stop. There we go. All right, welcome back to the Ohenewaa Show. And again, as your lovely host, I'm Ohenewaa, and I have with me Yolan. If you're just catching up, we were just talking about her, business as a restaurant manager, and also just talking a little bit about how she got here, where she started from, and just getting to know Yolan, okay? But as of now, we just have a couple more questions to go. And if you feel like you have any questions in regards to what we're talking about, again, you can always reach me at 414-288-7687 during the show. Again, that number is 414-288-7687. Or you can reach me on Facebook Live. That's if you add me on Facebook. But if you're not my friend on Facebook, oh well. So, moving on. The first, I guess the next question I had was, so what has been your greatest professional success?
Oh my!
And your biggest
amazing
step back?
Yes.
I'm just curious.
On a professional level, I would say, my biggest professional success. I literally, wow. Last year was probably one of the biggest years for me professionally because we did very, very well with Irie Zulu. For our first year in business, it was amazing. We had over 15 awards and nominations.
Oh.
I can't even keep track anymore, but I think it's a good 15 to 16. And one, Milwaukee, 40 on the 40 award, the 40 most influential future leaders in the area. So that to be given for the first time to a Native African, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
And the restaurant Irie Zulu also was very well received was very well received by the community and winning a lot of new best and several nominations. I think over 10. So I think that was good. My product line, Afrofusion cuisine, the sauces. Also was very well positioned, but that for me professionally was a setback because I realized that you can't have it all at the same time.
Right.
So when you ask me from a setback standpoint, I actually decided to have a baby. 2 months.
That's not a
2 months.
setback.
No. I'm going to tell you the story. The setback is what?
Here's the
is
story.
that I decided to have a baby, open a restaurant all at the same time,
wow.
and I was launching the product line India, all the Midwest, all at the same time. So it was quite a bit to do. So the Afrofusion cuisine, my product line, took a little bit of a toll because it took a back burner on the restaurant. The restaurant picked up a lot faster than what I had anticipated in my plans. So I had a few production issue, and I was dealing with raising a baby and all that. So I want to make sure that it's known because people think that I have it all. I got it all done all by magic. No.
You look like you got it figured out, though.
I had to make conscious choices. I call it setback. Those are conscious choices to grow my product line a lot slower so that I can stabilize my restaurant and obviously be at home for the 2 kids that I have and the husband. So so Ankara now is 8 18 months.
Oh.
Well, she's 20 months because Iris is 18 months. So she's, you see how I look at
I
that?
know, right?
So I had to take a step back with the product line so that I can focus on making sure that my family is stable. The restaurant that's running like a freight train is that I can rear that in and I keep a good handle on it. And now that things have stabilized, I'm ready to launch and to go bigger again. But the point being here is, you know, there's nobody who does it all at the same time in Super Women. No, there are choices that we make. Choices to slow down or take a step back in some areas. And sometimes it's very good to take a step back because in my case, when you're running and you're going fast and fast and fast, at some point you need the time to kind of pause a little bit and say, hey, let me re-examine, am I going in the right direction? And it can come in a form of your husband say, hey, I haven't seen you in a couple of days. Or your child telling you, oh, I saw such and such mother at the football game or the soccer game. I'd like for you to come back as well. So those things. So professionally, though, to be very candid on that, I took a step back on launching my product line in the bigger region of the Midwest to make sure that I have everything, you know, set up at home before I can do it.
No worries, but hey, you got it all under control. I mean, if you're not telling me this now, I wouldn't have known. So, kudos to you. But yeah, kind of a follow-up. So, what are your future plans for the restaurant? Are we going to see a chain? Is this something you're thinking about?
God, this
Because I would love a chain. I would love something close to wherever I decide to move to, because I definitely don't want to be missing out on your food. Oh my God, it's so amazing. But yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. I think the future is bright. I'm receiving a lot of offers from investors and developers to do various things with it. My immediate plan, though, I want to make sure that my family, my 2 kids first, are comfortable. My husband is comfortable, and then we will conquer the world. So yeah, I have big plans actually coming up that involve creating and launching concepts. At this point, because I'm still finalizing deals.
So she's not able to tell.
I can tell you the detail, but guess what? You got the first word.
Right, hey, we got the first word.
Yes. But I am making sure that at home, though, is very, very important, especially for women and African women. You know how important it is for us to make sure that the household is taken care of
before anything else.
So I want to make sure my hubby already signed off on all the plans, which is good. But it took him, I would say, the last 9 months. He wanted to see what I do with Iris Zulu first. That we keep a balance at home.
Yeah.
And now that he's comfortable and confident, he's the one out there evaluating opportunities. So that's good. It means that I have a partner. That's the best partner that I could possibly have.
Right.
When you say what has been my best accomplishment, honestly, finding this guy, meeting this guy, this husband of mine here in the U.S. at Marquette is one of the best things that ever happened to me.
Aww.
Yeah, because he's a supporter. He's a partner. Boy, he's a silent partner. He allows me to be me.
Right.
He doesn't judge me. He pushes me. He also tells me when I'm when I'm wrong. He has that confidence to rear me in when I need to be.
Right.
To tell me what is his mind without having to be boasty or shouty or negative. And that's what I love about him. And that's why I think, oh my God, I'm still being married. Because can you imagine, I didn't know that I could even be married myself.
Oh, you're doing an amazing job, I'm sure.
It's a great guy. It's a good partner. A very good father. Because, I mean, right now that I'm here doing this interview, he's the one actually picking up the kids. And so we have that.
Thank you, Mr. Iris Zulu.
Yes,